Hello Ed, this is Evan Roberts for CIS 210, Data Structures. So this week we were told to create a program that does the Euclidean method of finding the greatest common divisor, which to say is, it's fun in a way. It was fun to find the one thing, this block of code, that I really needed, and I essentially just duplicated it a bunch to make sure you can run it through enough times. So, as in the video you showed us, there are three things we need to check for before we can start doing any calculations. That's obviously, we get input for A and input for B, which I called Euclidean 1, Euclidean 2. So we need to check if either one is equal to 0, in which case it prints out the other and says that the greatest common denominator is the other one, obviously. So say you input 0 and 17, the greatest common denominator for that is 17. And, vice versa for the other one. And the last one we need to check before we do anything is if they're the same. Because if they're the same, they're obviously, either one's going to be the greatest common denominator, because the greatest common denominator of 3 and 3 is 3. So I just went ahead and clicked Euc1. You can do Euc2, doesn't matter either one. Now, if we actually have someone who input, let's say, a different one, let's say 3 and 9, for example. It checks which one's, sorry, I did the wrong button. It checks which one's greater, and then it runs through doing the subtraction thing as it showed in the video. 3 and 9, 9's greater. Subtract 3 from 9 is 6, still greater. Subtracted it, still. So then it goes to the next one, which is essentially just the same thing. It's another if-else where it's the same. I just did that because it's a whole lot easier than having to do a recurrence loop, and this has worked wonderfully. So at the end, just to make sure, if you're doing really large numbers, you want to take the smaller one, because really if you're using numbers that large, I'm not sure why you're doing anything. So let's try and run this. Into the first number, let's check the zeros. So 0 and 3, greatest common denominator is 3. And I'm going to run it again. Let's say that they are the same, 6 and 6, greatest common denominator is 6. And now we can do an actual one, one that'll make sense. Let's do 21 and 15, greatest common denominator is 3. And I pulled up before I started recording the little online application for it. It's 21 and 15, calculate, greatest common denominator is 3. So let's go ahead and check one more. And this time I'm going to do just something random. 95 and 84. Greatest common denominator is 1. Seems reasonable. So it's 95 and 84, right? Yep. So we can calculate, and the greatest common denominator is 1. So everything seems to be working. Have nice little please enters and your greatest common denominator is, instead of just, inputting and outputting without any nice text. So I say it looks pretty nice. And hopefully the font is large enough. And your email was kind of confusing because you said dark on light lettering. So I'm not sure if I should have assumed dark text on light, or dark with light lettering. So if this is wrong, let me know, obviously, and I'll fix it for next week. But until then, have a good one.